Algebra kids, here we go. We're going to kind of go back and relax just a little bit. And so what I want you to do is I want you to keep yesterday's homework, because 5 minutes talking about conversion is just not long enough. So you need to keep your assignment from yesterday in a very, very, very safe spot. And we will get it back out on Monday, where we will take a peek at it then. But today I figured you guys can go ahead and move forward, because you are going to be talking about, that's right, folks and fans, it's the learning target of solving and applying proportions. Remember? Proportions. All right, so now what you need to do right now is everybody take out your notebooks and get ready to write notes. That's right, copy all examples down. Serious, okay? I'm serious about this. I'm serious. Right now, take it out. Okay. All right, so today, learning target, again, is to solve and apply proportions. I will tell you that this skill, like I told you when you were in my junior high class, that this is an important skill to understand. Okay? A lot of students end up using proportions to solve very, very, very difficult, challenging problems later on in life. All right, so take a look. Our vocab for today, we have proportion. Proportion is, let me see if I can move this. There we go, out of the way. All right, here's what a proportion is. The proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. I'll show you an example of that in a minute. Cross product is another vocab term, and it's basically, it means when you multiply the numerator of one ratio to the denominator of the other ratio, and we'll take a peek at that. All right, so here we go. Here's our first example. I'm going to move over to the board, so you need to watch. So this is a proportion. Okay? A over B equals C over D. Okay, that is a proportion. And so what we're going to do, if you guys remember, I know you remember this from way back in the day, A times D should equal B times C. That is what a proportion should be. And the two ratios should be equal to each other. Now, if you take a look, we're going to, let's look at an example of a proportion. I'm going to do something simple. 2/3. Is it in proportion with 4/5? I don't know. Let's find out. Here we go. So we're going to multiply 3 times 4 equals 2 times 5. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 5 is 10. Uh-oh. They're not equal. So 2/3 is not in proportion with 4/5. Bummer. So that is what a proportion is. But let's say if we have 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. Well, here we go. We're going to prove it right now. 2 times 2 equals 1 times 4. Well, what do you know? 4 does equal 4. So therefore, yes, 1/2 is in proportion with 3/4. Now, let's use proportions to help us find the missing piece. So if we take a look at this example right here, we have 7/8 is equal to m over 12. And it is our job, that's right, our job to find out what that m is. So in order to do that, we're going to cross product. The cross product is when you multiply the numerator of one to the denominator of the other, like what we just did. So we get 8 times m equals 7 times 12. 8 times m is 8m. 7 times 12, I think, if I remember correctly, that's got to be 84. All right, now, this is multiplication. We've got ourselves a one-step equation. So we're going to divide both sides by 8. M comes out to equal, oh boy. Okay, I'm not sure what this is, so I'm going to go over to the side and divide. That's right. Do you see me using a calculator? I don't think so. All right, so that is, 8 can't go into 4, so it's 10 with 4 left over. So 4/8, which is 10.5 or 10 5/10. So that's how you use proportions to solve for the missing piece. Now, if you remember, I know you remember this because we have done this in the past. because these are two ratios. So you say y is to 3 as 3 is to 5. Yes. So here we go. Cross product. Here it is. 5 times y equals 3 times 3. 5y equals 9. Divide both sides by 5. Those cancel out. Y equals 1 4/5, which is also known as 1 8/10. Okay? All right? So, next. Moving forward on this, so we applied that. Now, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Tricky. Because we're going to solve a multiple step proportion. That's right, a multiple step proportion. This is going to be similar to the one that you'll find in problem 3 on page 126. All right, so let's take a look. My first ratio is n is to 5. As, let me see what the rest of it is, 2n plus 4 is to, let me see what I got here, 6. All right, so if you take a look at this, the one question that you might have is the fact that we have an n here and an n here, and we just need to find the value of one of the n's to get the value. So we're going to solve for n. So to do that, again, we're going to do our cross product. All right? So now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. We have 6 times n equals 5 times the whole quantity. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look what I did when I put those in there. And in fact, if you want to, you can always do this. So 6 times n is 6n. Guess what we have to do over here? We have to use the distributive property. Bottom. So we get 5 times 2n, 10n, plus 5 times 4 is 20. Look at what we have, you guys. That's right, we have variables on both sides. Yes, so we got to solve this. So step number 1, I'm going to get rid of the number that's smallest. This is 6n, so I'm going to subtract 6n from both sides. Okay, to cancel that out. I have 0 on this side. 10n minus 6n is 4n plus 20. Now you're at a two-step equation. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. Okay, I'm running out earlier, so I'm going to move it up a little bit. It's okay. All right, so I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. I get negative 20 equals 4n. Divide both sides by 4. Those cancel out. N equals negative 5. So do you see what I did? Again, when you did your cross product, okay, you're going to have that to do. And again, this is on page 126, problem number 3. There's another example in your book that goes with that. So if you have questions, you need to take a look at it. My speaker's right there, girls, so they can hear everything that you're doing. Would you like to say hello to them? Hi. All right, so stop. All right, now, next. The last thing I want to go over with you is using proportions to solve problems. So, an example is this. An 8-ounce can of orange juice contains about 97 milligrams of vitamin C. About how many milligrams of vitamin C are there in a 12-ounce can of orange juice? So, let's figure out how we're going to set up our proportion. So, our ratio, or our rate, is going to be this. Ounces of orange juice to, let me repeat it, 8-ounce cans of orange juice contains however many milligrams of vitamins. All right, so that is what our rate is. So now we're going to plug in the information. We know that we have an 8-ounce can of orange juice, and that has, let's see how many vitamins it has in it. It has 97 milligrams of vitamins. We want to find out how many vitamins are in a 12-ounce can of orange juice. Now, look at a couple things that you need to be aware of. Is first of all, on top of both of my ratios, which is 8x, equals 12 times 97. Ooh, I could totally use the distributive property for that, but I'm not. I'll go ahead and do my mathematics. 18. Ooh, I hope I'm doing my mathematics correctly. I sure hope so. It looks funny. I hope I did this right. Let me check my work. 14 carry the 1. That's 7 plus 1 is 8. Placeholder. That's 18 carry the 1. All right, 9 times 1 is 9 plus 1 is 10. I think we're good. All right, equals 1,164. This is a one-step equation. Divide both sides by 8. Okay, so 1,164 divided by 8 goes into it one whole time. 36, which is 4, which is 32. Subtract, 44. All right, so if I have 44, whoops, 44, I'm running out of space, so let me move this up a little bit. Oh, move that up, that's okay. All right, so 8 goes into 44 5 times, which is 40, with a remainder of 4. Add a decimal point and a 0, goes in 5 times, and there it is. So my answer, there are 145 5/10 milligrams of vitamins. Okay, your assignment will be is already put up on the board, but I'll give it to you as well. Okay, your homework assignment due on Monday is on page 127. You guys are going to do numbers 10 through 36 even show work. All right? I do not want to see just the answers. I want you to show your work. Up to 128. I would like you also to do number 40. 40 is a good one. All right? So, good luck. Be good. We'll see you on Monday.